Alright, here we go. We're gonna continue, and so far, the parents have been told that their child has cancer and they can't do anything. A few weeks, 4 months. Joel's got 4 months to live. It's always sad to put a time to someone's life, but it's the most they could do.
I have so many things stirring around in my spirit that I have to write to settle myself and find God's wisdom in the midst of chaos. I'm scared I won't be strong enough to face the things we might have to face in the coming weeks and months. But then I remember how much grace God gave us to walk out everything we've already faced. I've never felt completely overwhelmed, and I've never felt alone. So no matter what comes next, and I truly cannot even begin to guess how this will go, I know we will be carried. I want to shout out, look what God is about to do. Watch how he delivers Joel. And at the same time, I want to roll up in a silent ball and wait it out with fear and trembling, so aware of all my doubt, but yet convinced that my doubt is insignificant compared to God's faithfulness.
That's why you always have to have hope, even though you're losing everything. You gotta understand.
Joel, lay down. Okay. Should we do a song?
You gotta understand
Okay.
why it's happening.
Come in here and we'll sing the littles a lullaby. I'm tired.
Where's Joel?
It's bedtime. Okay.
Oh, am I a bird? Is that why? I'm a bird.
Lay down.
Babe, did you even check in his mouth?
Joel, no.
Joel has chicken stuffed in his cheeks from dinner.
Get it out. That is so disgusting.
Been in there for the last 2 hours.
Oh.
Okay, hold on, I'm trying. Joel, ouch! Stop.
Did he just bite you?
Yeah, I think he like just put too much in his mouth so he can't.
He was just saving it for later, babe.
Blown up blows. More
Perhaps this
reading.
reverie of waking is but a distant memory. Or was it a dream? I can't remember the last time I woke up hungry. Not so long ago, carefree, welcoming the challenge of yoga on paddleboards, springing through the rain and over puddles at the reservoir track. Weathering several storms since entering the first battlefield over 2 years ago, a succession of precise scalpels, high energy beams, and pharmacological strategies, a journey no one asks for. Still standing, spirit unyielding but not the same. With each treatment an imprint, evidence of what came before, willing rogue mutinous cells to yield to my current tailored chemical onslaught, stay put and do not multiply, or better yet, disappear altogether. By the will of God, through the tools of modern medicine, with the support of family and friends. Onward.
Alright, there's Mommy. Oh, those are messages in bottles, I see.
I have been in this room with my father before, during the brief window where he wasn't dying but was instead getting better. That wasn't the man I saw this time. I saw the other one, the one who cried out and needed holding, the one who fell asleep for 20 seconds and then woke up a different person each time. There was a clear part right in the middle of it, a minute or so, where everything was calm before his tour of hell resumed. That was goodbye, even if no one said it. I don't think I will ever get better after having seen that. I think this is the kind of knowing that stays with you. I can reach into my pocket now and find it there.
Messages in bottles.
We've been through so much already. This is a new degree of tragedy, but it's not so much different from the struggle we've already been living. We pressed into God. We pressed into faith. We fought until we found peace. We stood in peace when our flesh wanted to strive more. We stood in peace when it started to feel like laziness or foolishness or both. We waited for God to direct us specifically in prayer because all the directions we had initiated had not panned out. We prayed for no nausea because that's what we felt in our spirits we were supposed to pray, even though we prayed it countless times before while Joel continued to vomit. We saw one small miracle and then another. We waited to pray specific things until we were given specific direction, and we saw bigger miracles. And yet, if you asked either of us if we were doing enough, trying hard enough, we would say no.
I am at Seattle Children's Hospital, and nobody wants to be here. Even as an internationally recognized temple of healing, every inch of it is terror. Every cubic inch of every room that is not occupied by terrified children and terrified parents is filled to its capacity with a terror wholly unique to that family, which no other person has any power to comprehend. There is art on the walls and rooms which is designed to evoke a jungle of some kind, and I resent it. Every giraffe is my sworn enemy.
I mean, a lot of people can change because of what happens to them. And that's normal. That's how we live, and that's how everything's supposed to be. We change due to what happens.
I feel nothing but pride for the way you battled cancer. I remember the way you learned to ride your tricycle down the hospital hallway instead of down the sidewalk like other 3-year-olds. It was hard for me to pray to God, "Thy will be done," when I really just wanted so desperately for Him to heal you. In the 4.5 years that you dealt with harsh treatments, only once did you ask why God let you get cancer. I hope He has been able to explain the why to you, as I have always believed that He knew how strong you were and wanted to use you in your situation to positively impact so many lives. I remember how you never let me go to bed without telling me that you loved me, and how those were your very last words to me. You taught me what was truly important in life, son. Still now, years after you left Earth, people are impacted by your life and the lessons you taught us. Thousands of people from around the world read your blog and still feel such a strong connection to you, even though they never met you in person.
I mean, I don't like necessarily pushing religion on people, but I 100% agree that God has a plan for everyone, and whatever He plans for you
So how long will we be in California?
is what it should be done.
I don't actually know. That's kind of why we're packing up everything, is because if the trial works really well, then maybe we'll stay in California for a really long time. Like, as long as it keeps helping Joel, then we want to stay and do the best we can for him and stay there where he's getting help. But if the medicine starts to not work, as soon as it's not helping him, I promise we'll come back home.
Are we going to Disneyland?
Yeah, of course. What do you think, Caleb? You came with Eden for so long?
I'm kind of excited, but I'm kind of not. I mean, I think it'll be fun, but I just don't like missing school.
Oh, yeah?
You're the only 8-year-old to ever... That's amazing.
I hate to miss school, huh? But, like, why?
I'm pretty sure I've said the same thing to my parents before.
Oh, you hate catching up from missing school.
Your teachers are going to send me homework, and we'll just try to do a little bit of it every day.
Yeah,
So
the homework.
they'll
That was
send me
the
fun
reason.
stuff we can
How
do.
many kids get to go in?
But, you know, I never did it in the first place anyway, so... I mean, I missed it in the sense that
In the middle of San Francisco.
I wasn't there when I was supposed to be.
And there's a botanic garden, and there's the Golden Gate Bridge, and water, and a prison, and...
You would be happy to know that we continue to sell the Beat Cancer t-shirts that you love so much. We're still using them to raise awareness and funds for childhood cancer research and family and patient support programs. When you passed away, my greatest fear was that you would be forgotten. So many people still talk about you and how you changed their lives. That is such a precious gift to me as your father. Eli, you truly impacted more lives in your almost 8 years on Earth than many people do in a lifetime. I love you, buddy, and I can't wait to see you again. Love, Dad.
I mean, the impact of someone leaving us
I promise not to leave you in prison.
can change everything.
So we're gonna have lots of fun, and we're gonna spend lots of time as a family together.
Draws to a close. I am tired, but not sleepy. My face is puffy from crying. I have a dry throat and dry hands, a slight headache, and a desire to write down absolutely everything. I want to describe the feeling of being entirely empty and entirely resolute. I want to explore how I can be deeply sad and incredibly hopeful at the same time. I want to talk about holding Joel's hand, walking down the hall wanting to soak in the moment, to memorize the feeling of having his hand and mine, to let it matter, and then hating that my thoughts swing to, because what if I can't hold his hand one day? And hating that thought, wishing I could just appreciate each second of Joel without that appreciation spilling into the pre-morning I refuse to do because I believe he will live. But instead of fighting the brief thoughts of mourning, choosing to fight instead that lie that says that those thoughts betray some doubt, some mistrust of God, when I know that those thoughts make me human. And that God knows I am human. He doesn't make Joel's victory dependent on me never feeling unsure. I won't let myself hold anything back this time. I would rather feel disappointed and let God heal my heart than to feel like I did not push myself as far as I possibly could in faith for my son.
I remember the day I was diagnosed. I remember the hallucinations from the high fever of 5-year-old's nightmares. I remember my mother silently weeping in the doctor's office. I remember friends and family gathered around my hospital bed in prayer. I remember the 2-hour ambulance ride to St. Jude where they could better care for me. I remember the 2.5 years of weekly chemo treatments, the numerous lumbar punctures and bone marrow aspirates. I remember Doctors Bell, Dahl, and Kalvinsky nurses Jean, Judy, and Dale, Miss Chris in social work, Darlene in travel, all part of the team that cared for me. I am a walking memorial to their successes. I remember the other patients I'd see each time I went to the hospital for chemo. I remember when some stopped coming. I knew what that meant. I remember the years of summer camp for children with cancer, children like me. I remember their laughter and the midnight talks of fears and joys, normal kid stuff. Some less so. I remember when some stopped coming. I knew what that meant. But I remember them. I am, and other survivors are, memorials to those who lost their fight.
I mean, there are people who have survived cancer, of course, but
her expectation is so maddening sometimes. You know what she wrote on the eve of Joel's first surgery? The one back in January when we first found the tumor? I seriously feel like a kid on Christmas Eve. I'm pleading for God to spare his life, and I'm tempted to despair because self-inspection leads me to conclude I shouldn't expect much of anything. And yet my wife is expecting a surprise party from the Lord, replete with presents, supernatural miracles.